Hello, good afternoon. Today's date is 3/13/2013, and my name is Leslie Williams, and I am in San Diego, California. Now, this is going to be a video that's going to show fellow San Diegoans and fellow Californians a small section of proof concerning the crimes that have happened towards me. But once you witness this entire video and slowly review it, cross-reference the data, the dates, the statements, you will see that one of the most heinous crimes that can be perpetrated towards a human being, which include torture, sexual exploitation, you would not believe the crimes that have happened towards me. And I'm going to go ahead and fly right into it. But first of all, I want you to understand something. Cyber surveillance and cyber monitoring are methods of gang stalking. Okay? Editing targets emails, blogs, YouTube video comments, even descriptions in YouTube videos. They will infiltrate your email accounts, your YouTube accounts, and literally edit or alter blogs or erase data in blogs. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to direct you to a blog that was written by me, and they did infiltrate it and add some commentary in it that I did not put in it. But I left it there because I thought to myself, you know what, I don't care. It was posted on August 1st, 2011, while I was in Connecticut, at a library that I had to call the police on, concerning some gang stalking at that library, Canton Library in Canton, Connecticut. In this blog, it shows me talking about a number of things, and it also shows some of the commentary that they put in the blog that I just went ahead and left in there. But what's so important about this blog? Now, when you print it out, on page 4 of 15 of printing it out, it literally states in there, then they finally stole my rent September 2006. But actually on page 3 is what I want you to take special notice of. Page 3 of 15, at the bottom of it, it talks about, let me put my glasses on, it literally talks about, at the very bottom of it, it literally states, they poisoned and killed my cat Higgins of 14 years in another apartment. She died in 2006. They subjected me to electric shock through the electric equipment they used in my last apartment, which was the Monroe apartment. Okay? I'm going to show you it again. And subjected me to electroshock through the electrical equipment they used in my last apartment. Continued, because this is actually, it was the actual flow of the blog was interrupted, and then this statement continued, showed that I was literally starting to make statements again as a continuation of the previous statements concerning the Monroe apartment. That's why I put last compartment continued, because these statements were continuation of what was previously in the blog. Anyways, it says the internet is suggesting this is done through radar guns or whatever. That is what they use. Then it goes on to make some other statements concerning about how they, a couple of the tactics that they used in the last apartment, fear conditioning and anchoring fear as a result of them keeping my rent, and then stating they didn't get it, and then how it finally states that they stole it in September. Okay? Then I went on again, this is concerning the Monroe apartment. Okay? Then it went on again to talk again about how what they did was, then the electric shock that went up through my left foot, up through my entire body. It literally took the breath out of my lungs, literally, and it ended up in my head, waking me up in an extremely violent, reactionary way. Okay? This was a blog that was written in part by me, edited by them, on August 1st, 2011, exactly 1 week before I came back out to San Diego, California. Okay? Yes, it was written in Connecticut, where I was being gang stalked on a feverish scale, including at the library. Go to Google and type in organized stalking or gang stalking and cyber surveillance, and then libraries in a separate search. Now, what I want you to understand here, what this particular first part of this video is about how they electrically shocked me, how it went up through my foot while I was sleeping in bed, and came up through my foot into my lungs and violently woke me up. Okay? Now listen to this. Concerning a couple in a condominium in 1970.
Roger, how many cases do you handle like this? How many cases over what period of time? Oh, geez, since you've been doing this. Oh, at least 3,000 or 4,000. You know, it's interesting, back in around 1970, I had my first case, and it's interesting though, there couple that was living in a condo, and they were getting electrical phenomenon going on in the middle of the night. They were getting like electrical discharges on the ceiling and all kinds of electrical shocks in their bed. And I said, well, who would want to do this? And they said, well, the people next door are trying to run us out because they want to buy our condo.
Now, I have made many videos concerning about how these organized crime groups that had this technology are into land co-opting, mortgage co-opting, how they'll rent apartments adjacent to targets. In fact, this blog that describes how I was electrically shocked while I was sleeping in my bed, he just got done stating, listen to this, I'll rewind it.
It'd be them. So, with door shocks and electrical phenomenon going on in the middle of the night, they were getting like electrical discharges on the ceiling and all kinds of electrical shocks in their bed.
And that's exactly where the electrical shock happened to me in the last apartment in Dearborn, Michigan. Yes, the Monroe apartment. Now, I want you to understand something. I did not discover remote neural monitoring or electronic harassment by name until October 7th, 2010, within 1 week of literally moving out of that apartment. Because notice how it says in the blog that they finally stole my rent in September, and I finally just said, screw it. Yeah, they also entered my apartment and poisoned my food. That's mentioned as well. Right here, well, they poisoned my cat, and then they poisoned me, and that was one of the main reasons after they stole my rent in September, I finally just said, screw this. But in this blog, right here, okay, and in this blog, which was written in July, okay, and they delayed my rent in August, put me through hell trying to retrieve that back. They lied about it and said they got it, didn't get it when they actually got it. Sent me a legal eviction notice that had 10 days for me to prove that rent was stolen. They waited until the 9th day and then told me they got it, which meant that I suffered throughout the whole month wondering if I was going to be evicted, which they had already done 5 times in the months prior to this July post, okay? And so when they seen in July or August, I think it was in July, I bought a ticket to go see the ACLU down in Ann Arbor to go there, okay, to make a formal complaint with the ACLU again. I bought that ticket the next month in August, so they stole my rent finally in September for good, to the point to where they didn't return it. So I finally left and let the security deposit cover the amount of time I stayed in that apartment up until October 3rd, and finally left around October 5th, okay? Then 2 days later, I used that Amtrak ticket I bought to Ann Arbor to go to the ACLU, to go to Ann Arbor to go to the ACLU meeting. And before the meeting started, I went to a Ann Arbor public library and was doing some research to kill time. And I discovered a website that talked about remote neural monitoring and remote behavioral influencing technology. And the remote behavioral influencing technology has to do with electronic harassment, which is what this guy was talking about, okay? Now, what we have to understand here is that this blog was made talking about how renting adjacent apartments. Says it right there, renting adjacent apartments. Tuesday, July 6, 2010, 1.5 months before they stole the last month's rent for good, and I finally said, screw this. They were doing it every month, literally every month, on top of all the other stuff I was putting up with that apartment. But I'm going to play this again.
I said, well, who would want to do this? They said, well, getting like...
All right, now listen to how he says the people responsible for the electrical discharge while these individuals were sleeping in their bed, which is exactly what was described in this August 1st, 2011 blog concerning that Monroe apartment that this blog is concerning, okay? Literally state I was sleeping in my bed and was electrically shocked. And then listen to what he says concerning the responsible parties for the electrical shock of these people were people that were in apartments adjacent to theirs, okay? This is a broadcast of a targeted individual who's gang stalked, okay? Covered on Coast to Coast on Valentine's Day 2014. Okay, make sure you look in the description of this YouTube video for cooperating videos and materials so you can understand all the statements concerning that Coast to Coast broadcast. Because there's going to be statements in it you're not going to understand unless you look at the cooperated material. Then you will flat out be able to understand it. But this is concerning that apartment where it says they finally stole my rent in September 2010, okay? And then right below it, it continued to talk about the electrical shock as I was in my bed, okay? Now this blog that was written by me in July 6, 2010 concerning the same apartment literally says it right here, how they rent apartments adjacent to me. Now listen to what he says.
They were getting electrical phenomenon going on in the middle of the night. They were getting like electrical discharges on the ceiling and all kinds of electrical shocks in their bed. And I said, well, who would want to do this? And they said, well, the people next door are trying to run us out because they want to buy our condo. It could be them. So it was later on, I'm not going to tell you how we managed to figure it out, but later on we found out is that these people next door were running a Tesla generator, a million volt Tesla generator that was contacted on the wall, and they were...
And listen to what he's got to say, but listen to where this person came from. A university in California. I'm all over the internet concerning being gang stalked at multiple universities here in California.
Actually throwing these lightning kind of sparks across the whole structure of the wall that bordered from their place to the victim's place. And I was able to finally get pictures of this machine, and the son was a physics student out at UCLA at the time that put the thing together, and they were just trying to run these people out. And at that time, I named it electronic harassment. I'm the individual that gave it that name because...
Now, I want you to look in the description of this YouTube video for undeniable proof. You think this proof is enough? Think about this. This broadcast on Coast to Coast that you just heard, this little radio segment, was broadcasted on February 14th, 2013. And he talks about how a couple was laying in their bed and being subjected to electrical shocks. This is a blog right here showing me stating the same thing written on August 1st, 2011 concerning the Monroe apartment that I was running in 2010. So these statements concerning it literally said it. It literally said it. Electrical shock. Look at that right there. Electric shock that went up through my left foot, through my entire body. It literally took the breath out of my lungs, literally, and ended up in my head, waking me up in an extremely violent, reactionary way. This blog concerning that was posted and even altered and edited by them, though. They included things in there that I did not write at all. Posted on August 1st, 2011. This is in reference to the same apartment. How they were renting apartments adjacent to mine to harass me through all different types of gang stalking, organized stalking tactics. Okay? And this is a radio show that covers a targeted individual of gang stalking, organized stalking. Electronic harassment is always connected to organized gang stalking. Now I want you to listen, I want you to understand something. If you slowly and meticulously cross-reference everything that is included in this video, you will clearly see that I am a target of this crime. And these crimes happen to me as a result of me having to go back to Michigan as a direct result of the San Diego Police Department engaging in organized gang stalking expeditions that literally and directly and intentionally influenced my decision to go back to Michigan, where these crimes transpired towards me on a daily basis from every single day from November 5th, 2006 up until the day I came back to San Diego, August 8, 2011. 1 week after this blog was made about what happened in Dearborn, Michigan concerning this Monroe apartment, which this blog is also about as well. Now I want you to look in the comments feature of this YouTube video, the description of this YouTube video. You're going to see, you think this proof is something. Wait till you see what's in the video that's going to say number 2 on the end of the YouTube title. There's going to be a YouTube title in the description of this YouTube video. That YouTube title at the end of it will say number 2. This one will say number 1. It'll be a continuation of these statements to show you undeniable proof in reference to San Diego's direct involvement that has been proved concerning 2006 emails that were sent from San Diego Point Loma Library. Yes, if you take the time to look at them, listen to the statements, cross-reference the information, it will be in your face, flat out, literal, undisputable proof that I have finally proved that I'm a target of this crime. And it's just an extremely small section. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 1 compared to the 10 concerning the entire amount of evidence I have. Thank you.